Hey everyone, how are you? It's Shelby here. Welcome back to my channel. Hope everything's going good for you. So today I thought I'd do a video on the books that I'm wanting to read this spring since it is now springtime. So let's get into the video. I usually don't do like TBRs or anything like that just because I'm really bad about sticking with them. I'm such a mood reader, so I'll try to do a TBR and then I just never end up reading the books on it because I just don't feel like reading them. But I was hoping that maybe if I'd made like a seasons one, you know, maybe like a springtime, so that I have like more than just a month to try to read these books, that maybe I might try to. And I'm just kind of in the mood for certain types of books. If they look like have a certain kind of cover on them, or they take place in the springtime, they're just like, they just give me like springtime kind of vibes. So I'm kind of in the mood for reading some of these. So I thought I would go through and kind of say which books I want to read. And then this setup is a bit different than my other videos. I did end up getting some bookshelves, which I'm pretty happy about. So I do have some of my books on these shelves behind me. So I thought maybe I would try filming my videos here. I don't know, we'll see. I'm not really sure if I like it. I like the background better for me, but it's a little bit more of a hassle to try to set up to do these videos, so we'll see. I'm not really sure. And then also I'm wearing a sweater from Hello Lovely that I got. So it says Proud Romance Reader Club. And I really like it. It's very warm, which isn't the best sweater right now to be wearing because now where I'm living, it's starting to get warmer since it's springtime. It's also starting to get humid. So I probably won't be wearing this sweater too awful much anymore until it starts getting cold again. But oh well. Anyway, so let's get into the books that I'm gonna read, which the first one that I'm going to go over I actually have already started reading, and that is A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kimmerer. I think is how you say that name. Everybody and their mother has read this book. I have not, so I need to finally get on board and read this. Like I said, I have already started and I'm about I'm not very far, maybe like 50 pages or so. So I definitely will read this and I'll see what I think. Okay, and then the next 3 books are part of book clubs that are going on here on BookTube for the next few months, I think. So I'd like to try to participate if I can. I'll leave the links for both of them down below. They're like Instagram pages. One is the Rake Appreciation Society, I think is what it's called. So they're doing, and this is going to be taking place in April, is when they're doing like their discussion about this. They're reading the Texas Destiny by Lorraine Heath, which when I saw that this book was announced for their book club, I already had this book, so I was like, oh well, I'll just read it and for their book club and see what I think. It looks like it's going to be a pretty quick read, and it's a historical romance that takes place in Texas. So probably get to that. That'll probably be after I read A Curse So Dark and Lonely. This will probably be the next one that I read, because I think the book talk on it is when only the first or second week in April, so I need to get on this pretty quickly. The next 2 books, I'm not 100% sure which months they're for, but I know it's for the historical, I can even talk, the Historical Hellions book club, which again I'll kind of link that down below. One of them was Shanna by Kathleen E. Woodwis. I think somebody was talking about this. This is like a historical romance about this girl who her dad, I think, makes her choose somebody to get married to, but she doesn't want to get married and she wants to be independent, so she decides to marry somebody that's on death row because he's gonna die anyway, and then she can be a widow and do whatever she wants, but then I guess he doesn't die or something. So I don't know, this is, like I said, I can't remember which month this one is. And then they're also reading Then Came You by Lisa Kleypas, which is at some point. They announced all their books through like September for their book club. So I just like tried to find all the books that I could so that I can take place. And then I have no idea what this one's about. I have read one Lisa Kleypas book, so I'm pretty excited, and I did like it. So I'm pretty excited to read this one and continue reading more Lisa Kleypas. And then all the rest of them are more just kind of random, just like either they're books that I've had for a really long time and I want to get around to reading them, or some of them it's just that the covers like give me spring vibes and I kind of want to read them. Yeah. The next one I have is going to be A Kiss at Midnight by Eloisa James. I'm getting all my historical romance authors' names mixed up. I haven't read any Eloisa James books, so I really want to read her. I have a lot of her books, and I'm excited about this one because this is like a Cinderella retelling. Cinderella is one of my all-time favorite Disney princess, so I'm pretty excited about that. And there's the cool step back. I love it. So I wanted to try that one. And then I have a stack of a bunch of other historical romances that I'd like to read. And I think all of these are like the first book in like series. And that's kind of why I wanted to pick these up, so I could try out some of these authors. And then just so that I'm not just like starting randomly within their past collection of books. So I have Again the Magic by Lisa Kleypas. And I don't think this one has a step back, which is sad. So like I said, I read one Lisa Kleypas book and I really liked it, but it was like almost like a sequel series, I think, off of this series, and it had some couples in it that I'm curious about how they started out before they like got married and had kids. So I thought it would be good to go back to the series and try this one out. So then I have When the Duke Was Wicked by Lorraine Heath. So again, this is like, I'm pretty sure this is the first book in a series. I was wanting to try some Lorraine Heath, which I'm going to do that with the Texas book that the Rake Appreciation Society is going to be reading. But I also wanted to try this one out. Also because this just screams like springtime. There's so much like flowers and like the yellow and green. I just think it's so pretty. And then the cute little step back. So I'd like to get to this sometime this spring. Then I have To Taste Temptation by Elizabeth Hoyt, which again, this is just wanting to try out this author. This is the first book in the series. I have no idea what this is about, but we'll see if I like it. And then another one is A Night to Surrender by Tessa Dare. And there's that step back. I have read Tessa Dare before. All of her books that I've read by her, I've absolutely loved. I really enjoy her writing style in the historical romance genre. So again, this is like the first in one of her series. So I wanted to pick this up and read it so I can try to... I feel like I've heard some of her like first few books that she wrote aren't that great, but other than them, all of the rest of her books are really good. So I'd like to try to read all of them if I can. And then the next little bit that I have is just kind of random. Some of the books are romance, some of them are adult, some of them are YA. And then I think I might have maybe like one or two fantasy books. I'm not sure. So the first one that I have is The Bromance Book Club by Lyssa Kay Adams. Everybody has read this too and loves it, and I have not picked this up, but it sounds awesome. It's about like, I think maybe a baseball player or something, and he's trying to like spice up his marriage or romance his wife, something like that. So he forms like a book club and they read like romance books to learn how to like romance women. Something, I think that's what it is. I don't know, but I've heard this is really good, so I picked this up. And I picked up the other books in this series too. I've heard number 2 isn't that great, and then I don't think I've heard anything about the third book, so I don't know. I really wanted to get this one, and then it's also got flowers on the cover, so flowers just remind me of springtime, so I thought this would be a good book to pick up. The next one I have is A Faux Love Story by Lonely. This was on my most anticipated books coming out this year. It just looks so cool. It's about these two, I think they're teenagers, I'm pretty sure this is a YA book, that are like work at their parents like restaurants, and they're like competing restaurants, and they like form like have like a love story kind of thing going on. I just thought it sounded really cute, and I'm excited to pick this one up. The next one is The House on the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. I've heard nothing but good things about this book. This is also, or no, not on my anticipated releases. This is on like one of my my list of books that I'd like to try to read this year. So I'm kind of slacking on that, to be honest. So I need to pick this one up. I know this is about, I think this guy, there's one guy that has this like orphanage, and it's for like the worst kind of children, like magical type children. Like I think one of the kids might be like Lucifer or something. And then it's about this guy who's like checking up on the orphanage, and they kind of have like a little bit of a romance. I just heard this is really cute and sweet, so I'm excited to pick this one up. And this would be my first TJ Klune book too. I've never read anything by him, so I've heard good things about him too. Okay. Then I have Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. I've also heard nothing but good things about this. Everybody loves this book. Everybody loves this series in general. And I would like to read it and see what all the hype is about. I have read, or I started to read one Talia Hibbert book. I don't remember what it was, but I just like couldn't get into it. I just wasn't enjoying it, whatever it was. I don't remember what the title, but so I'm hoping that I can try this one out, and hopefully I like this one a little bit better, and then I can also be a fan of Talia Hibbert. We'll see. The next one I have is Love Her or Lose Her by Tessa Bailey. This is the second book in, I don't know what this series is called, but the first one is Fix Her Up, which I read like right when it first came out. I think that was a couple of years ago, maybe. I absolutely loved the first one in this series, and then I never got around to picking this one up because I heard it wasn't very good. But the third one in this series just came out, and I've heard it's really good. So I figured I should probably finally read this one and see what my thoughts are on it, and then I can move on to the third one, which I've heard is really good. So, and Tessa Bailey, I really like her writing. Most of the books that I have read by Tessa Bailey, I've really enjoyed. So I'm hoping, even if I don't like this like a ton, or it's not like my favorite, I'm hoping that I'll like it at least a little bit, so we'll see. The next one that I have is The Dating Plan by Sarah Desai. I have no idea how to say her last name. This book like literally just came out not too long ago, and I honestly don't know anything about what this is about, but I picked it up because I'm pretty sure it's a romance, and I really like the cover. So that's honestly why I picked it up. So we'll see. Hopefully I get around to reading this, and then I can find out what it's about, and I'm hoping that I enjoy it. So this one is an older book that I just never have gotten around to reading. It's Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. This is another book that's on like my list of books that I would like to read this year. Most of the books on that are either like new releases that I need to get to, or they're books like this that are just like backlist kind of books that I've just never got around to reading, and I'm like, okay, now's the time, I need to get to it. And I thought this might be a good one for like springtime kind of reading, maybe if I don't get to it, maybe like summertime, just because how the cover is. It's like the yellow blue kind of, I think these are moths. All I know about this is that it's about this guy that's obsessed with this like lost city, and he goes like on a journey to try and find this lost city, I think. And I'm pretty sure it's a fantasy. It kind of gives me like Milo from Atlantis vibes, if you've ever seen that Disney movie. It's one of my favorite Disney movies, so if it's anywhere around similar to that, I'll probably enjoy this. And I've read her Laini Taylor's other book series, the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy, and I really like that trilogy, so I'm hoping I like this book as well. And then the last book that I'm wanting to read this spring is going to be A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. So this, I'm late to the game reading this because I ordered my copy of this book through Illumicrate, and that's in the UK, so it took a little bit longer for it to get here to the US and shipped to me. But I'm so excited. I can't wait to read this huge chunker of a book. And then so I got like the original, just kind of plain copy of it, but it came with dust jackets for all of the books in the series. So this is my Illumicrate dust jacket, and it's so pretty. And then there's like the back. And then I'm also excited. So I don't know, I know this is about the sister, I can't think of what her name is, and Cassian, which were like side characters in the original trilogy series. And I didn't really care for their characters. Cassian was fine, but I didn't really like her. So I'm really hoping that this book kind of redeems that character in my eyes and I start to like her a little bit more. And then the other thing that I'm excited about this one is, as I'm filming this, I just checked on Instagram, and I follow Sarah J. Maas on Instagram, and she just announced that her series is going to be made for TV on Hulu, and I'm so excited. This is one of my, at least, again, not concluding this one since I haven't read this yet, but the first 3 books in this series are like my all-time favorite books ever. I love them so much, and I'm so excited that they're gonna be made into a TV series. It's so great. I'm so excited. So there you have it. So that's kind of my TBR, what have you, books that I'm really looking forward to. I'm gonna try to read this springtime. We'll see if I stick to it, but hopefully I do. But yeah, so thank you all for joining me for my video. Make sure you subscribe and like, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye guys.